To roll into 9 o'clock on today, December 9th. We are gathered today for our regularly scheduled Karnes County Commissioners Court meeting. We do have a quorum present. We've got lots of folks out in the stands and lots of folks watching. Commissioner Beatrick and myself as well have had requests for the court to speak clearly and loudly into our microphones so the folks that are listening in internet world can hear us well. So I would ask the court to continue to do that. We do have a quorum present. Let's stand for our prayer and pledge and we will get started. Lord, we pray for the wisdom to apply your teachings to our daily lives. Help us to discern your will in every situation and to make choices that honor you and bless others. Grant us the strength to resist temptation and the courage to stand firm in our convictions. May our lives be a reflection of your wisdom and grace, Lord. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Miss Jamie, do we have any citizens signed up to speak this morning?
Several this morning. First one is Caroline Princess.
Judge Krzequa. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm here to speak on item number 19, which is the final construction documents for Precinct 2 Service Center and JP office. Throughout my umpteen years as JP, I've always kept an extremely tight budget. Look up the word frugal in the dictionary. My picture is there. However, the time has come to dedicate some county funds toward a permanent building for the people of Precinct 2. Not only because my office has been deemed unsafe right now because of the way of today's world, but because this has been my 5th temporary location and because the budget has always been completely different than has come to today. Judge Sotelo and I both agree on the plan that has been drawn and hope to have duplicate buildings. We have had, I actually drew the beginning plan and it's going to include an actual office for us each, a break room, a bathroom with hot water. It's going to include a courtroom, which we can use. It would also have a jury room for conferences. But the great thing about this is it's going to be multi-purpose. All the voting can take place in Precinct 2 there. You'll have an entrance. You'll also have an office for the commissioner and for the constable. So I think that it's a good thing. The other thing I want to bring up, and I've been wanting to bring up, is that remember when it comes to these EMS substations, the reason Falls City has one is because Falls City took the initiative. They took the time, built a fire station after years of saving money and grants, made it big enough to add EMS to it, and invited them over. So I think that any substation in any other section of this county, the citizens of that area need to contribute or at least get involved. Falls City doesn't just have it because it's there. It's because they made it happen. And I just want to remind you of that when you're thinking about all these substations you're trying to put up around the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. All right, Jamie, who's next? Come on up, Vi.
Good morning, gentlemen. As a former Beaver cheerleader, I have very little doubt people can hear me, so. I just wanted to speak on 2 agenda items. The first one is item number 18, the bill for A-Alert roofing. I'm glad to see we're going to take action on that, but it still doesn't solve the problem of the roof leaking or condensation or whatever the problem is. What is the next step? Are we trying to solve the problem? I thought one of the things that the county was going to do is work on the landscaping on the sides of the building to change the flow of the water. When is that going to take place? We can talk all day about what needs to happen, but unless someone takes action, it's just wasted words. The other one is item number 20, going into executive session concerning the archives building. The agenda item says to discuss Karnes County Archives building. That is kind of vague. Discuss what? Legal action? Contract? I asked the county attorney if she has received a contract for review, and she had not as of Monday morning. The law is very specific on what constitutes an executive session. Unless we are in some sort of legal battle with a contractor that I'm not aware of, I would be very careful not to violate the Open Meetings Act. There also is no action item listed after the agenda, so if there was action that resulted from the meeting, you can't do anything until the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Vi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Liao? Ms. Patton?
Good morning.
Morning.
Regarding item number 14, a request to repurchase 14 Duo standalone ballot marking devices and scanner kits. I've been working for election polls for the last 2 years, I think. Maybe this will be my third, I'm not sure. In my opinion, Beth Montalvo is an excellent head of the elections office. As far as I can see, she's a person of integrity and follows the instructions set by the Secretary of State to the best of her ability. But the system is corrupt. The system is manipulated and is not set in place for we the people, but the end result for one world government where we the people ultimately have no choices. Every commissioner and judge that was in this court on the day there was a unanimous vote to move to countywide voting, I'm sure did what they thought was best in the interest of the county, because they'd been told by somebody that it was best. We took their word for it, but I don't know that any real investigation or research was done by anyone regarding the repercussions of this. We were told that it makes, we trusted and we're lazy. We were told it makes voting easier. In my training to work elections, I've learned that the people fill out forms that allow them to vote in spite of all kinds of misinformation. They can have assistance if they don't speak English, and because we don't want to deny anyone, we want to make it easy, and it should be easy. It should be a responsibility and a privilege taken seriously by every citizen who wants their vote to count. That citizen should take the steps to get it right or to enlist the help of someone who can help them get it right. It's not necessarily the citizen who cares about running the government who's voting for a free meal or a beer or a snow cone, Republican or Democrat. That's not the voter we need. We need those who care. This is like the frog in the pot of water on the stove that slowly comes to a boil, and soon the frog is dinner. When I was in high school, we had a designated smoking area. The high school made it easy for kids to vote. It was easy for kids to buy cigarettes. Now you can't smoke in this building. We saw the light and we figured out that cigarettes cause addiction and cancer. Easy and much more expensive is not what we need. At least 7 counties in the state of Texas have gone back to hand-marked paper ballots and hand counting, Dallas County and Hayes County being 2 of them. There's coming a day when we will see the light and we'll see that we were sold a bill of goods that was not in the interest of free, reliable, honest elections, but instead ends with control and lack of freedom for we the people. Please do not spend taxpayer monies on more machines that are part of a corrupt system. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. Any others this morning? Ms. Liao?
Yes, the next one is Cook Pass.
Dr. Patton?
Good morning. I have 2 purposes today. The first purpose, or the first thing I'd like to do is thank, Judge Hedke for the work and the effort he put into acquiring land in Gillette for the building of an EMS facility. So, Judge, thank you for that. And then thank the court for your unanimous approval of the purchase price. Again, everybody approved it. So, and then again, back to the judge for you negotiating that price down from what was twice what you settled on. So I appreciate your fiscal responsibility there, and generally speaking, in all the business of the county. Secondly, I stood here 2 years ago and spoke against countywide polling program and for the use of paper ballots and lock boxes. And it was wasted effort at that point. I still stand against the countywide polling program and the computerization that program demands. I move and I ask you individually and collectively to look into going to paper ballot in the lockbox for the voting in the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patton. Any others this morning, Ms. Liao?
Yes, Tommy Shaw.
Come on up, Tommy.
We ready?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies of the court and here in this room. First, I'd like to thank all the first responders. I do this every time I come up here, but from last time to this time, they didn't just sit around. They've been doing their jobs, and we count on them for that, just like we count on y'all to do your jobs. So I'd like to thank them for that. Secondly, transparency. When y'all go out and ask for the votes, y'all aren't hiding behind a wall and putting your arm around it, asking for their vote. Your face is right there, even on the boards. There's very little transparency here. And when it comes to the Open Meetings Act, well, that's kind of a joke in a way. I've handed evidence to the judge and to the county attorney, and evidently there's just a little gray area there that nobody wants to follow up on. But election time's here, so we're going to see what happens. We created that unit system many years ago, and I think we might have done ourselves a disservice to a degree in some areas. We did a transition, which means we kept on moving. Now is what's going on. We did a reset then. We need to do another reset. You've got an individual, and it's not him that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the situation. We have an individual that would be in charge of the road and bridge. But what happens when one of y'all commissioners wants something done and he doesn't want to do it? Well, he don't have to, because he tells the other commissioner, I don't have to, you're gonna have to get all 3 votes. Well, I've yet to see the paper on that. I'd surely like to see the paper that states that, and I'll be looking for it. But, you know, he handles a good part of the individual that handles that road and bridge, whoever it might be, handles a considerable amount of money in this county. And when he won't do what y'all want him to do as individuals, I don't understand why you're even there. He's like the 5th commissioner, in my opinion. I don't agree with it at all. So as you can tell, I'm pretty upset about it for numerous reasons. You know, y'all have left him, you leave that individual to be the scapegoat. Y'all are not taking full responsibility of your actions when it comes to the road and bridge. You are ultimately responsible. Not him. But y'all don't oversee him, and you don't hold him responsible. He doesn't need to be he's an employee. He's not voted in. My 3 minutes are up. I appreciate y'all's time. One more thing, you still got Shelby Dutnick here on Precinct 1 up at the top. It's not been redone since 2023. Y'all might want to look and see if there's been some changes in there.
Thank you, Tommy. Any others this morning? All right, we're going to move to item number 6, and that is to acknowledge the official bond and oath received for Vida Swerts, County Treasurer, Ms. Elaine Simmons. We need elaboration on that.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I was just bringing the bond and oath to present to you and to Ms. Liel.
Thank you. Any discussion from the court? Hearing none, we'll move to item number 7, acknowledge an anonymous donation in the amount of $2,500 made to the Karnes County Veteran Services Office to assist in reaching and helping the veterans of Karnes County. This was received on November 10th, 2025. Blake?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Commissioners. Just wanted to acknowledge that we had a wonderful donor that donated $2,500 to the Veteran Service Office in an effort to be able to reach more veterans for the county. And there were numerous amounts of sponsors from the local community that helped out. That's entitled in the report that I gave you guys for this month. But The Veterans Day barbecue was a huge success, and we're very thankful for that donation.
Thank you. Item number 8, discuss, approve, disapprove San Antonio River Authority, SARA, Sarah. Access to place a galvanized pole for flood data tracking equipment on the county right-of-way on County Road 344 near the low water crossing. Justin is at conference. San Antonio River Authority is here. I'm going to let them come up and speak about this, and Jim's up here too. Before Jim speaks, I was approached by the River Authority a month and a half ago. Had a meeting with River Authority. Obviously, with the tragic floods that happened this summer up in the hill country, it brought a lot of attention to low water crossings. The River Authority has graciously reached out to us and in other counties that they serve to install some of these low water crossing alerts. And so whenever I talked to them about it, I included Justin and Jim in the conversation before we place anything on one of our county road right-of-ways. I wanted the commissioners who are in charge of the county road right-of-ways to have some knowledge about it before we took any type of action. Go ahead, Jim.
Morning, Court. We did, Sarah did this study, I think we went back a year and a half where we've identified flood areas. Last year, we identified the problematic roads with Road and Bridge that's causing some issues with either EMS passing through, and then we are prioritizing now. So we identified the problematic roads, now we're prioritizing from maybe the top 5 to top 10. And now we're at that point where on this project, we're going to start installing the gauges. And that's where we're going to bring Sarah up to explain what the gauges do, how they transmit, what the benefit of these are. And of course, they'll probably discuss the no cost to the county on this, but thank you, appreciate it. Good to see you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jasmine Ramones. I'm a practice lead at the River Authority, and I'm the program manager for this effort. Yes, as it was mentioned, we have done a lot of coordination with the communities to try to understand the needs and the areas where, based on historic, there's just flooding issues in order for us to see if they are good areas to put gauges. The first gauge that was selected for this pilot study is going to be in County Road 344 and Dry Escondido Creek. And what this gauge is going to be doing is going to be collecting data, and which is going to be feeding to a website that is going to be able to be viewed by the public and the community in order to see if there is a event, if it is safe to cross. The data from this website also feeds to navigation apps. That way, when there is an event, the public can be rerouted to safe routes. So we are here to get hopefully approval, and that way we're ready to install this gauge this week.
Wonderful. Any questions from the court discussion?
I was just curious how you chose the location on 344.
The location was really selected through the input of the communities. We met with the officials, and we wanted to understand what are the areas where they have seen issues previously. And this is just one location. Like, there's a lot of areas that will need to have gauges, but we needed to select one area for this pilot study. There will be, of course, when we select the area, there are also models that we have. So we look at the water surface elevations. We kind of do some assessment to identify also the risk and how high the water can rise. But there are other areas, of course, we can't do them all at once. There will be other areas where we will continue this expansion with the input of the community officials. We still have a lot of meetings that we want to have with community officials. That way we can continue to explore if there's other areas within Karnes County that we should be also identifying.
Absolutely. It's unfortunately, when tragedy strikes, it tends to open our eyes to areas in which we may lack. And I'm grateful to the River Authority for sitting down, reaching out to us, and taking the initiative to potentially save lives. So thank y'all. Discussion, any other discussion from the board?
No. I'll make the motion to approve item number 8 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Motion carries. And that's this week. Y'all are going to get started on that this week. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Come on up, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Tommy Mitchell's here, who is here with us. His crew's going to be out here on Friday getting this
Awesome.
installed.
Awesome. Thank y'all again, and thank y'all for coming down. Okay, item number 9. Going to be discuss, approve, disapprove the rental service agreement with the new vendor South Point Rentals for 2 locations, the DPS Waste Station and the food bank distribution served at the Karnes County Show Barn. We have to have porta potties out there at the show barn. We don't use their facilities. Mr. Montalvo.
Good morning, Kurt. We had some issues before with the last people we had, and they're hard to get a hold of. They're not easy to work with, and they would show up, they wouldn't show up to clean and do their part of the agreement. So Michelle and I talked about it and said that enough's enough. So we went out and just looked on different people and found that South Point was a better price, easy to deal with, and I think it'd be better for the future ahead to have new porta potties at the weight station for the DPS inspection station and the food bank at Show Barn. And so that was the best price that we could find, and I think this would be a good business forward, because I believe Road and Bridge was going to use them as well. I think, if I'm corrected, right? Yeah. So they already asked the county attorney to look at their contract, so we can open the door here for everybody. It'd be a good thing. Hopefully it'll save us money in the long run.
Sheriff in his previous life knows that porta potty location very well.
Yes, he uses it quite a bit. But yes, sir, that's pretty much everything in a nutshell.
Yeah. Thank you, Renee, and thank you, Michelle, for all y'all's work on digging.
Yes.
Judge, I'd just like to agree with Renee that dealing with the other company seemed a little difficult. We had problems where we ordered a handicap porta potty for the food bank, and when they said it was delivered, I think they actually delivered it to the hospital while they were doing construction over there. So we had a whole month where we had no access to that facility that they wanted us to pay for. So
Agreed.
And now I believe that the weigh station is operating without facilities because we are needing this. So I will make a motion to approve agenda item 9 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Item number 10, discuss, approve, disapprove list of names to be added to the list of election workers for the remaining 2024 through 2026 term. Ms. Beth.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Court.
Morning.
Hope you're having a good day. Already December. Woo. All right, so on the election board met on November 24th, went over things that we have to do to prep for the primary. One of the items is looking at more election workers. Just for transparency on who is responsible for the obtaining election workers, it's the party chairs, the parties themselves. It's not the elections office. You know, and you yourselves, I've pled and put out word that we need election workers, and that is the only way we can have a polling location. State law now went into effect that there is now a requirement of a minimum number of election workers that must be at every polling location. That's new September of this year. Before, there was no state law, so everyone was Every county could do whatever they felt was necessary to man it. We've always maintained the level that is now the state law. So we, before even there was a law, we kept it at the level that that they see is necessary. So when we met, we added 4 more that came from the Choate area, because they really want that polling location open. So it was presented, applications came to me on Friday before we met, and I presented those 4 to the board, and they were all accepted. So the list of names here is Shannon Grayson, Barbara James, Catherine Morgan, Amy Stoltine.
Yes.
I hope I pronounced that right. It is my recommendation and the board's recommendation. We all voted on and approved all these names, so that is what presented. This term does go from 2024 to 2026. So in 2026, we will again present all of the election workers if they so choose to continue on for your guys' approval for the next term. Any questions?
Beth, you said the law changed and now we have a minimum requirement of workers per location. What is that number?
4.
4.
Well, okay, I'll say 4 because that's there's certain other qualifications depending on size and how many polling locations and how many voters within that polling location, that kind of stuff. So what we meet with our requirement within that law, it's 4. There's some that can go down to 3, and then some that have to go up to 5 or 6. So we meet our 4 threshold. And some locations, I even add a student worker, so a minimum of 4, and we've had up to 5 at each location.
If someone in the community wants to help become an election worker, how do they go about doing that?
On the elections website, under poll watcher and student clerk section, there is an application on there. They can fill it out, send it in electronically. They can come into the office as well and fill that out. We have them fill out applications every year. Even though it's a 2-year term, I don't know if somebody is something's happened, something's changed, so I have them go ahead and do it on a yearly basis, so I know where they are in their life and if they want to continue or not, and what role they want to still continue in or not. Good question.
Make a motion to approve item 10, a list of names to be added to the list of election workers for the remaining 2024-2026 term.
And I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Beth. You can stay up there. We've got several for you. The next one is item number 11, discuss, approve, disapprove the list of polling locations for the March 3rd, 2026 Republican and Democratic primary.
All right, so as you said, as I said earlier, that we met on the 24th, and one of the things we looked at was our polling locations. We are currently still accepted in the countywide polling place program for the Secretary of State's, and we have currently, in front of you, I have the list of the locations that we voted on with the board, that being St. Cornelius Catholic Church, Kennedy is still to be determined, Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, Our Lady Queen of Peace, Catholic Church, Runge Public Library, Gillette Fire Station, Choate Baptist Church Fellowship Center, Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary Catholic Church, Holy Trinity Catholic Church. So, do you want me to comment about Kennedy? I think this would be a good time. I have contacted Chet, I think it's Chet, I can't think of the name right now, at the mill. And I've also talked with the city secretary and talked to them about the conditions of the city hall in Kennedy. The issues we were having at that location with the electrical, and I've talked with the vendor. They've never experienced what we were experiencing with the electrical issues. I had Renee check it out. I had their person check it out. All of the electrical is all on one breaker. Is that what we call it? Yeah. And it's the kitchen, the hall, and part of the hallway as well, or no? Yes, was all on one. So what it would do, just to let you guys know, we would boot up the equipment and the device would tell us it cannot detect any wall power or battery power on the device, so it wouldn't boot up. So we would shut it down, and the directive from the vendor would be to take out the battery backup battery and then put in a new one. And the battery has some internal safety feature that if it detects something weird with the electrical, it's gonna shut it down and not let it operate. So that's what it was doing. It was doing its job. So we'd put in the new battery and then it would boot up. It detected the wall battery power, or the wall power as well as the battery power, both, and it would function. And then the next day it would be another one. It would happen sometimes at boot up, sometimes it would be during the day. And as you know, the equipment's not cheap, and I just felt like they're not willing to do anything about the electrical. They said they're not gonna do anything about the electrical. There were plans to do construction on that building, and even during that, they weren't gonna handle the electrical. So I don't wanna put our equipment at this cost and with the voters and my workers and you know, not with them knowing what's going on, and they don't care to know and find out what's going on and to resolve it. We used the Dougherty room on this last election and it was fine. No electrical issue, but that room is just too small. We cannot have an election in that room. So I've talked to the mill, went over and looked at it. It would be perfect. It is a great location as far as from voters' perspective, as far as getting in, getting out, that kind of stuff. It's very voter friendly, much more so than even the city hall. Some of those, that steep ramp for the elderly, you know, parking's a nightmare. It's hard for some of these voters, and the volume we get at that city hall is a lot. So that's one that if it's not our second, it's our third busiest location every election. So a couple hundred voters always or more every election. So we need to look at a place that can handle that capacity, make it ease of availability, and a good environment for my workers. Some of the workers have said they're not gonna go back there. Rat infestation, in the daytime, they open up something and there it is, right there looking at them like, hello. You know, so they said it's not an environment they wanna work in, with the electrical power as well. We have early voting there, always. So we're talking 12 days of early voting plus election day, 13 days of voting that we have to find a place in Kennedy. That means how many weekends? 2 weekends, plus Wednesdays, so Sundays, so we can't have a church. So of all the facilities, and I've talked with David and we've looked at, you know, which facilities are out there. There's very slim that are available in that precinct. It has to be within that commissioner's precinct because of the law states how many per commissioner, and you can't have more than 2 for each commissioner. More than double from one commissioner to the next.
We get rid of machines, go back to hand counting paper ballots, and then we don't have to have
Well,
all that power.
I would love for that to be that way, but it's not that way. The state law says you have to meet ADA compatibility. Hand marking paper ballots does not meet the state standard for ADA compatibility. So the state says you have to have these equipment, whether it's HART or ES&S, to meet the ADA compatibility. Because it has the hearing devices or the compatibility that they can mark their own ballot. Marking a hand paper ballot is not ADA compatible, unfortunately. So that is a whole separate thing, but to meet our standards, we have to have at least one ADA compatible machine. Karnes County voters, and I can show you the records, how many votes versus the device versus hand marking.
We don't have to
Yeah.
get, we don't. that's
But
not-
I'm just saying, so, I mean, we look at that, and I have to report that to the state, just to let you know. My report that I have to do after every election, they look at every location, how many voters, how many use the devices, how many use the paper. It's a big 8-10-page report, depending on what election I'm working on. But we have to break it up in many, many different formats and what we look at. But, so, the location that we're looking at in regards to this, to handle the amount of voters and having it with in that commissioner precinct, it's tough. They're slim to none as far as locations. So there's another possibility of another location, but it's not as good as the mill. So I'm hoping that that will happen. We're not gonna be able to determine this final today, unfortunately for Kennedy. I'm still waiting to hear back from the city manager after I met with the gentleman from the mill, and he's going to communicate and get all this together, and hopefully, he didn't see any problems. I gave him the dates for the elections next year. He looked at it. Just to let you know which area in the building that we're looking at is, there's the big hall, then there's a smaller hall, and then there's a room that they use, what they call like their conference room. We would be able to use the conference room, and I went and checked outlets, electrical, placement of everything, and it would work out fine. And it's a room that is locked up, has no exit, like doors, like a exterior door. So it's only internal, and it can be locked up and secured, and nobody else could get in there. I did verify for that. So that's where we're at with Kennedy, with an early voting and an election day polling location. Just to let you know what state law states as well, early voting is handled by the county, which would then be decided by the EA. Election day is the one that's handled by the election board and the parties. They were present at this meeting and have been given this information to date as well. And they are in agreement, the board was in agreement to not continue with the City Hall, Kennedy City Hall. Any questions on that one?
Judge Mayer?
Yes, sir, please.
Beth, I understand the mill is your first choice. You did say there was a backup choice, and if I'm going to vote on a to be determined, I want to make sure I know what your backup choice is as well.
So looking at the art gallery was our only other one that has ever been mentioned by a party chair. Like I said, the party chairs are the ones that determine, election day polling locations, and then the board then decides on it and brings it to you guys. So I know this can't be finalized today, but the main one I want to work on is knowing that Choate can be added as a polling location, that is being added. And then Karnes City Hall is no longer as a polling location here in Karnes City. So that's basically the ones at this time we can vote on, keeping the rest, and then in Kennedy to still be determined. That,
When you said the art gallery is Second Street Art Gallery, is that correct?
in Kennedy.
In Kennedy? And you've checked it to make sure it's ADA compliant?
That's where the issue is. We'd have to have a ramp put. There was something with the threshold, and there were, if I remember correctly, because we looked at it earlier this year. And then it was just not my ideal because of how it's broken up in rooms and how we would have the check-in versus where the voters and then where they were exiting. So, and they have a lot of things in there that we would have to have moved around. And so it would work, but it would take a lot of work up front. But again, those are the only two that are within the demographics, the district boundaries. I can only go on Main Street to the side that City Hall is on. The other side is not available, it's in a different district. And then, as you're aware, and then go to Second Street on the same side that the art gallery is on. And then it comes back into, and it spreads out. So that's why the mill is available off of Escondido, and then it goes out, it spreads out, and then goes, as you're aware, goes 72. We already have a polling location off of 72.
Good Shepherd.
At Good Shepherd. But that's, yeah. And Good Shepherd it would not be feasible to have that as our early voting and election day. It's already our election day, but for early voting, taking away their fellowship hall for that many days straight, we can't do that. It's just not available. Any questions on Karnes City Hall? I looked at the numbers for Karnes City Hall for the last 3 elections since we used it at the new location. We had in November of 2024, we have 58 voters vote at that location. In March of 2024, for the primary, we had 61. The first election that we had there was 121. And that was the city and the schools election. So that, I think, is why there was a higher amount. We didn't have St. Cornelius open for that election either. So those voters that would normally vote with St. Cornelius, they went over to the Karnes City Hall. Whereas the 2024 elections, we had St. Cornelius open and here open. So it definitely just, and just to be transparent, why we're looking at not keeping it open, I don't have the workers. Even with these 4 new ones that were brought on, I don't have enough workers to man that location. So we would have had to look at closing it, an election, a polling location anyways, even without those 4.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, to make a motion, we would include everything but Kennedy.
Correct, sir. I do have numbers, I don't know, and the races. So I can look at, if we are looking at polling locations and we're looking at the voters for the primary coming up. This is as of last night, what races we have. I tried to confirm with the Democratic Party chair this morning just to make sure if there were any more that have filed. I have not heard back from the time before I left. So what we have is for the district clerk is Republican, there's 1 candidate, Democratic, none. So that's an uncontested race as of yet. County judge, we have two candidates, Republican, Democrat, none. County clerk is 1 Republican candidate, Democrat, none, uncontested race. County treasurer, 2 Republican candidates, no Democratic. Commissioner 2, 3 Republican, no Democrat. Justice of the Peace 2, 1 Republican, no Democrat, uncontested. Commissioner 4, 2 Republican candidates, 1 Democratic candidate. Justice of the Peace 4, 2 Republican candidates, 1 Democratic candidate. Justice of the Peace 3, 2 Republican, no Democratic. Justice of the Peace 1, no Republican, 1 Democratic, uncontested. So if you look at the races, that will be really, there's more races, more contested races. We kind of knew this was kind of like what it was going to be when the board met as well, but we really felt like Commissioner 4 and JP 4 was going to be we looked at Our Lady Queen of Peace as one of the locations that maybe we would have to or look at shutting down, but with the amount of registered voters over there and the elections that are going over there, we thought that leaving Our Lady Queen of Peace would be better than the Karnes City Hall. Did I explain that right, Judge?
Yes.
Yeah, so just let you know, we looked at what races also, what's up and coming for this next election. And that way, for voters and for, you guys that are on the ballot and those that are out there that are on the ballot, we are looking at where, location-wise and the amount of registered voters in that area and what races were going on. Up to date to today, I've also done the precinct voter totals. Commissioner 1 has 1,889 registered voters. Commissioner 2 has 1,946. Commissioner 3 has 2,184. Commissioner 4 has 2,155.
Wow.
Okay? So, that's...
Any other discussion? We could move on, folks.
Judge, I don't have a problem with the mill. I'm curious, can we approve this list with the mill being contingent on the approval of the city of Kennedy? Or is that a question for Ms. Toppy? I'm not sure if she...
I believe you can approve it with contingent on the approval from Kennedy.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to approve the list of proposed voting locations with the mill in Kennedy on the, as long as the city of Kennedy approves it.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Item number 12, discuss, approve, disapprove list of county departments to have 4 county employees work on Election Day for the March 3rd, 2026 Republican and Democratic primary, who is a Karnes County registered voter and is not related to any candidate by the second degree of consanguinity or affinity. The Karnes County Auditor, the Karnes County Attorney, 911 addressing permit, and maintenance. Beth?
Okay, so again, when we met on the 24th, I presented the list of election workers that we currently have and where they're assigned. Not putting them in at Karnes City Hall, and then putting them also in Choate. Now, the 4 that we just added were from area of Choate and put the primary wanting to work is Choate, but they would be willing to work at other locations. Now, that's key because when you start off with as a new worker, you cannot work as a judge or an alternate judge. You're just learning the basics of what's needed to work at a polling location, so you start in as a clerk. As the years go on, hopefully you get the more experience and then can move on up in the level. So the issue is we don't have enough judges to man, and that's why we had that polling locations. I have no backup, even with these 4 that were added on, I do not have backup workers. So if somebody on election day calls in, can't work, emergencies happen, which has happened in the past, I, with this new state mandates, would have to close that polling location, and I don't want to do that.
Is it too late for people to sign up to work, to help work?
No.
It is not too late for people to sign up to work these elections.
Correct.
Thank you.
So, as a backup, my gut has said, how can I find backup? I need something with the backup. So this was presented to the board and said as a backup that we wouldn't on the night before election day have to be scrambling, what polling location are we gonna close? We would have to present that to you guys, and you guys would have to vote on closing the polling location and assigning it. So instead, I came up with this to present to the board to say this is what could be done as a backup if, instead of closing a polling location. And we looked at what departments did not have anybody on the ballot registered, if they were a registered voter, because you have to be a registered voter in Karnes County. So what can we do as a backup for the county to keep the polling locations open? This is not going to be used just automatically. It's only as if it's really necessary. I don't want to inconvenience another department, but at the same time, we need to try and keep all these locations open for election day. So we, as the board, looked at, like I said, several factors and presented it to say, okay, what can be done? Which departments could possibly help us out? Okay, these were the lists that came up. There were some other departments and we said, no, this, no, that, but these were the final list. Then we talked about their rate of pay. As some of you may be aware, the election workers for clerk gets paid at $12 an hour. And then we discussed, these are being basically, being asked, being told, asked to work and shift from their department, their regular duties, to work a polling location for that day. It was felt that they should get paid their regular rate of pay.
And that was, I wanted that brought to the court. The $12 that the state pays, the state pays that.
Correct.
So, is there a way, if the court were to decide to pay the county employees that are going to work, and those county employees would be, Tom Dupnick is the auditor, Jennifer Tapia is the county attorney, Jim Adams is our Karnes County 911 Addressing and Permits Office, and Karnes County Maintenance is Mr. Rene Montalvo. So obviously, those folks' rates of pay are higher than $12 an hour. We got to have election workers. I've stressed it for years, sitting up here, and hopefully eyes are being opened, but that's court's, that's the court's purview, how to pay those folks.
And the second item on there is the rate of pay, and then the second is how to pay out the hours that they would work over the 8 hours, because they will work more than 8 hours on that day. The hours of working is 6 a.m. until it's closed, which is roughly around 8 p.m. No lunch breaks, by the way. They work hard that day. So it's a long day. My proposal would be to make it clean, simple, and somewhat of an extra benefit for them doing this is to pay them straight 1.5 hourly overtime. At the same time, they get paid their rate of pay and out of the election bucket.
How do you do that with the county attorney who's an elected official?
This would be somebody from in their office.
Okay.
We're on 12, right, Judge?
We are.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 12 as presented.
Well, we need to make a decision on how we're gonna pay them as well, right?
That's number 13.
Okay, all right, great.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Item number 13, let's talk about these rates of pay for the discussion approval, disapproval, rate of pay for the county employees who worked the March 3rd, 2026 Republican and Democratic primary election, how to pay out the amount of pay that is worked over 8 hours on election day.
Judge, since we previously discussed this item on item number 12, which is fine, I would like to move on this one, if that's okay. Oh, Judge.
What's the?
Before Mike comes up as well, I have a question. Do we have to list on 12 who or what
The
county
department?
employees are going to be working? Because then 13 would reflect the pay of who the county employee is that's working? Or we're just going to leave number 12 as just?
That's why I wanted to state those names. The positions, the offices are in the agenda item. Karnes County Auditor, Karnes County Attorney, that's why I had the question, because it says Karnes County Attorney, 911 address permit, and then maintenance, and
Yeah, so
so.
those are offices.
No, I understand that, but my question is how would we discuss the rate of pay if we don't know who the employees are? Because Jennifer Tapia is
Right.
different pay than, Vanessa or Carla. Do they all make the same? No. So we would need to discuss who the employees that are working, so we know how to vote on number 13 as far as how to pay.
Unless, Ms. Leal, unless the court decided that it was just gonna be that straight time and a half. And then whenever we name who that person is, it will reflect then their hourly rate of pay and then that time and a half.
That's, I think, how we talked about it at the meeting, how it would be decided.
Okay, I just want to know how to reflect it.
Because we didn't know which individual would work at that time. We were like, how can we decide at this time, that individual? So,
So is this gonna be something that the department heads of each one of these departments comes in and says,
Would you like to voluntold?
well, yeah, I mean, or is it going to be someone that is selected by the board from that department?
no, it would be a voluntold, and then if not, then we would be more of a voluntold, like who would want to volunteer for this? And then if not, then we would have to select somebody, kind of a deal, is what we had discussed. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Okay, I'm just a little concerned about, because the law says you physically have to work 40 hours before I have to pay you time and a half. You're taking 4 particular people who are working the election and working over 8 hours a day and giving them time and a half, but you have other people who may work over 8 hours in one day, and I look at their whole week. You're just opening up a can of worms by doing this.
Can I answer that one?
Yes.
Okay, so we looked at, it would only be if they worked over their 40 hours, that additional.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right, it's actually truly overtime.
Okay, your agenda item's a little confusing because it says that if they work more than 8 hours on election day, that you wanted to pay them time and a half.
Okay.
That was kind of confusing. That's, yes, we're good.
Yes.
I understand now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry about that.
Buys payroll,
She's good.
so you gotta watch that.
Any,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With that being discussed, I would like to make the motion to approve whoever out of these departments that works that day gets paid their regular rate of pay, and anything at the end over 40 hours because these days are going to be longer days, right? Gets paid for the overtime, not comp time or anything like that. Gets paid. It'll be cleaner, it'll be done, and we move on.
yes, and I have the account, our GL number. It would all come out of the election worker fund that we have that is just for election pay.
That's included what she said,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That would also be just if they're needed, right?
Correct.
There's a motion on the table.
I will second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None, motion carries. Item number 14, discuss, approve, disapprove request to purchase 14 Duo standalone ballot marking devices and 14 barcode scanner kits to be paid out of the contingency fund in the amount of $70,510. Seth?
All right, here again, Court. As we've gone into this election, in the past, what we have done is the devices that we use for early voting, we would turn and flip them for Election Day. They would not be the device that's just used for early voting and then those that were just used for Election Day. My proposal would be that 8 of those devices of the 14 are those that would be designated to be able to, so that I can have every device that was only assigned to that location and used at that location, that it was not flipped and used at more than one location for that election. Then I have no backup devices if something were to have a power issue or things we were experiencing, and then we have to go and have a device for that location. I've talked with you guys, a lot of you on this, and I understand that where we're at with the contingency fund. And so in light of that, I would like to propose that instead of the 14, and we can do the 8 for us to be at where 1 device per location. And then next year's budget, we can look at the backups. Each device is $5,036.43. That includes the ballot marking device, the barcode scanner, the licensing support for that, and the shipping and handling. So with the 8, that would be $40,291.44. I have spoken to each one of you and talked with you in regards to the needs for this and why I feel we need this. That being that the delays, the time for voting, those that are waiting, why we need the amount that we have currently at each one. That's gonna stay the same. But what it's gonna do, it's gonna make it so that we only have that 1 device per location, instead of turning it and flipping it over. I don't like that. And we have seen that we need those amount of devices at these bigger locations, especially with longer ballots. So, any questions on the request on that?
Judge, may I?
Yes, sir, please.
Beth, my understanding, these machines, they're more for a backup. You currently have enough to do an election. This would be to satisfy a just in case, correct?
No, that would be my backup. These are 8 that I'm asking for. We use 4 at each early voting location. So that's the 8. Currently, I do that, but then after early voting's over, I turn and reprogram them and send them out to another location. So that device has been assigned for 2 locations for that election.
So it's definitely more difficult, but if we don't approve these machines, you can still conduct an election, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because originally my concern was just that we were going to spend 70% of our contingency
Yes.
fund today, and that's why I'd spoken to you previously about
Yes.
maybe going to 8. But what company is producing this machine?
Hart InterCivic in
Hart.
Austin.
Hart InterCivic. You know, last night I attended a meeting that's got me concerned about Hart. I am not sure that they are a good company that have the welfare of our state and our country yet. And I would really like some more time to research the things that I've been told before I go and approve spending thousands and thousands of taxpayer dollars to give to an evil company. And they may not be, they may be fine, but I'm hearing mixed things. And I don't want to spend our tax dollars that way, I'm concerned. These are for the ballot marking devices, correct?
These are ballot marking devices.
So instead of using a ballot marking device, we could still print a ballot. Those ballots could be
Yes, sir.
hand marked, and we still use the same scanning machine that we already have.
Yes, sir. And I would love to, anyone that went to last night, to please call me. I did not hear what was happened and what was said and what was discussed. But for those that did attend, And I've always said, the door is an open door. I would love for you to come in. I would love to you participate, to view, to see what is going on with our elections so that you can make an informed decision. Do your research. We do testing before. That's open to the public. It's a public testing. It has to be done with the public to be invited. Never once has one citizen or individual or elected official come and watch the public testing. So I invite you. It will be January 12th of this next year. Okay, I already have my date. So, and I have a team that does it as well. It takes a whole day. And it will show you from the beginning to the end, we actually do an election and test it. So from the beginning to end and test everything about the election, and you can see how it is as far as how the election works with the equipment.
And then, Beth, I just want to say again, I've worked with you, I've worked with the elections. I believe that you are doing a great job. I think the people working with you are doing a great job, and I do not doubt your integrity or the integrity of our election workers. Every time I talk to you, you make me feel better about utilizing these machines, but I still have concerns that I want to explore and research before I continue.
And just to let you know, we have 2 vendors that are certified for the state of Texas to conduct the elections for the equipment. One is ES&S and one is HART, and we have the HART. Also to let you know that the HART equipment is the only one that has gotten certification from the elections commissions. So currently, they are the only ones nationwide that fall under that new certification with the president's order, executive order. So that's a little tidbit there. We do have to have the ballot marking devices. And like I said earlier, we have that amount because of the amount of Karnes County citizens that, and you guys have voted, we ask, which would you like? The one that you mark the ballot with the device or the one you hand mark? Every voter, we ask that for them. I'm not gonna just hand one to a voter so a voter says, well, they gave me that's, not proper. They should let us make the choice, and we do. So, and it shows that at most locations, most of the voters use the ballot marking device for whatever reason, so that's why we have the amount that we have. We had to add last year, after last year's election, and we saw that they wanted more devices, and then we added. But I'm still having to flip those devices. The reason why I don't like having to flip it is when we do our ballot log sheet, the device log sheet, I run all these reports, then I have to separate it by the location as well. Because this device had all of this data entry and all this for this location. And then now I have to assign it and I have it over here at this location. For auditing purposes, it can get kind of confusing. And it doesn't do anything with the voting. Those devices don't have vote totals in it. Nothing with that, but it has, every time somebody has done something on it, it records it, and that's what's on our tape and on our V drive that we run, and I run my reports for post-auditing reasons. So that's where it can get kind of messy. I like my paper clean, cut, nice and easy. So yes, we could still run the election like we are currently, and there's no issues with it right now. It's just a post after the effect with my reporting and that kind of stuff. It gets kind of, you have to really know what you're looking at when you look at it. So.
Commissioner, the feeling I'm getting right now is that you want to wait on this one because you want to do some research on it because of the heart, which you concerns about heart?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Beth, is there a deadline today on, or can this be put on the next one too, and we still have enough time if we are going to vote on it again? Or?
In 2 weeks, I believe, I don't know if I spoke to you, that I'm not going to be here at the next commissioner's court. but we could have that agenda item. I don't know if I can call in. I can more than glad to call in and discuss that and have it still on the agenda item. The reason why I say that is because that would be the last day that we could do it. I have to take possession of the equipment in January to be able to get it ready and programmed and testing by the middle to end of January, so I can have it ready for the election. Because we send out ballots, I have to send out ballots by January 17th, and then to FPCA ballots, and then we program after that, and all mail ballots are out the end of January. So I have to have all the devices pretty much set and programmed by then. And to take them, I have to do acceptance testing and all that before I can even do any of my other programming on it. So I have no problem. If you guys, I can put it to the next Commissioners Court, just knowing if I would like, if that's a possibility, court, to be able to call in.
And she's given a pretty good presentation today that if you'll keep fresh on your mind, and again, Beth is available if you have questions about it at court. I encourage you to visit with her as well.
Judge, may I?
Yes, sir.
Beth, I have another question. You mentioned that we give people a choice whether they use the ballot marking device or whether they have a printed ballot that they fill in. Is that something that the court has a option to make a decision on, or we have to give individuals that choice?
If you're swaying them to use a certain way of voting, they could be looking at that as being, well, why? Why are you making it that I have to vote? Or using a paper that I mark with the device or a paper that I hand mark? So it's a thin line. And so what I have put in there is that we ask every voter which way you want to vote. That's why I can say 100%, I never forced you to use this type of voting method.
So do we have any authority to say we want all ballots in Karnes County hand-marked, and then you can still utilize the scanner?
You cannot.
Cannot.
State law says you have to have the ballot marking device for ADA. I have to have those devices, and they have to be available at every polling location. That's state law.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
I know, right?
So this is an action item. Are we going to table this and have it reappear on next meeting's agenda? Is that what I'm hearing?
I believe so, Judge.
Okay. Any other discussion on that?
You need a motion for that?
No.
No.
Thank you, Court.
Beth, thank you for all of that. Item number 15, acknowledge opening of Karnes County Sheriff's Office and Jail HVAC proposals received stated in request for proposals. Sheriff?
Good morning. These proposals were sent to the auditor's office, and he's welcome to open them here.
We received one bid yesterday, and that was from Brant. And I need buy from someone to open it. Sheriff, yes, sir. All right, Sheriff. You have submission requirements in here. It looks like they included those black drive as requested. So it's just a duplicate. Insurance. How the agenda item read? Yes, sir. It's a duplicate. So the agenda item reads. Just to open them.
And acknowledge the opening.
Yes, sir.
So Commissioner Rosales has been instrumental in helping with this project, and we appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Also, Mr. Giesler's been helping along the way, too. So we will take these, we'll stay in contact with the judge, of course, and the auditor, and we will review these and see which way we'll recommend on going.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Item number 16, acknowledge, recognize ACOG for their public safety answering point, their PSAP supply donation for dispatch in the amount of $1,798.48. Sheriff, you want to talk about that acknowledgement, or is that pretty self-explanatory?
Yes, so we want to say thank you to ACOG for the donation. This is for dispatch. It's going to go for equipment that they need. Would you like to say a few words on behalf?
We would like to extend our sincere appreciation to ACOG for their generous donation. These funds are used to support dispatch supplies in Karnes County. ACOG's continued support and dedication play a vital role in keeping 911 operations running smoothly and keeping citizens safe throughout the county. So we're grateful for them.
Yeah, thank you, Myra. This is my dispatch supervisor.
Awesome. Item number 17, discuss, approve, disapprove a budget amendment for Fund 197, Operation Lone Star. Sheriff?
Okay. I'll let the county auditor elaborate a little bit on this. He stated that we needed this after the budget was approved. So, Tom, if you don't mind, give me a hand with this.
Yes, Court. So we budgeted the $100,000 grant award from the state. We just need to strip the fringe benefits out of the $100,000, and that's what this budget amendment is doing. And also the amendment number changes to 04, because we had done previous amendments prior to this one. Originally, it was going to be 03. And the judge, the budget amendment amount is $15,952.27. So basically, we're going to split up FICA $6,429.65, retirement $9,388.13, and then unemployment tax of $134.49, which is a $15,952.27. No overall adjustment to the budget, just moving the funds from one line item to the other three.
Okay, I don't know that we're going to be able to jumping forward because you have budget amendment BA 2026-03 underneath the consent agenda. Not sure that we can get that done today after the last time consent agenda got.
Judge and court, 003 was for the road and bridge, if I believe. That was from the last court. Electronic purchases was $15,970.50.
So this one will be on the next one as
Okay.
04, is that correct?
Yes, sir, the number 4 will be on the next one. Correct.
Okay.
I just want to specify so court would know it is
Great.
going to be number 4.
Perfect. Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda item 17 as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Budget amendment number on here is 2026-03.
Correct, Judge. That's why I specified, because it was given to the sheriff's department before, but they didn't get it on the agenda in time for when you did
And
the
on the
last.
consent agenda, it's specified as BA 2026-03. So you said 2026-03 was a road and bridge deal?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and the agenda item here doesn't specify the budget amendment number for this item. It just specifies moving the monies. Yep. And I was just clarifying it's going to be 2026-04, which would be under consent for the next meeting, as you just stated.
So in the motion, shouldn't it be changed from 03 to 04?
Correct, but on the agenda item, it doesn't specify the budget amendment number, just specifies moving the funds.
But then we're
Correct.
approving it later on the consent agenda. as
No,
opposed-
sir, that's the one for, that y'all approved last meeting.
What I'm looking at right on your order to amend budget fiscal year 2026, the budget amendment number is 2026-03 for Fund 197, Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, Department Operation Lone Star, in the amount of $15,952.27.
You're correct, Judge, and that's what I specified just a second ago. That was did not get on the agenda prior, and that was going to be for the last agenda, and that's why I still had a number 3 on it when it was brought to your office. And that's why I specified it. The number 3 on that item is going to be number 4, and if you look at further down on the consent agenda on that road and bridge one, it's going to have number 3 on the budget amendment that you see. And we can pull it, Judge, and
I would like to retract my motion.
okay.
I think,
And that's fine.
Can we get the paperwork corrected
think
and bring
the
it back
paperwork needs to be
next week?
corrected.
Or next month, or next?
Any other discussion from the court? Sheriff will look at that next agenda item. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir.
Item number 18, discuss, approve, disapprove pending litigation regarding payment of services for installation of the standing seam metal roof at the offices on the square. B, payment of alert roofing roofing invoice. Ms. Tapia.
Yes, so as the court knows, we have been served with a notice of claim for payment to A-Alert for the installation of the roof at the offices on the square. We've gone into executive session several times to discuss this. They are wanting our answer and for whether they are going to be moving forward with litigation or not. Basically, I've gone over everything with the court with regard to the questions you've had, the contracts that were signed. And so basically, we just need to make a decision on whether this is going to get paid or not. I will advise as well that, excuse me, that they will be asking for all attorney's fees, arbitration fees from the arbitrator for the county to pay all those. So the current bill is about $214,000 after all said and done with arbitration fees, their attorney's fees. They have corporate in-house counsel. You're looking at over $250,000 if we go forward with not paying the bill and they pursue legal action against us.
Judge, may I?
Please.
Court and the public, I do not believe that A-Alert is following the contract that they sent us. There are many things in here that say that they will do something, and they haven't done that. And I have talked with Ms. Tapia, and I am not a lawyer by any means. I'm just a guy who's sitting here reading a piece of paper for y'all, doing my best to discern it. But, you know, there's things in there that they say they will do, that they will do this and they will do that, mainly regarding an architect who will be in charge of the project. Now, we have a problem here. In full disclosure, we never went out and hired an architect. The county is listed as the owner. We are told that we will enlist the assistance of an architect. The architect that is listed was put in there by this company. A-Alert generated this contract, put the architect's name on there, sent it to us for a signature. That contract never really came back to court. That contract was just signed and they started working on the building. It says in here that before they start working, they will do things like send a payment schedule to your architect. They will send us the superintendent for the projects through the architect to make sure that everyone's happy. I believe they never had an intent to do any of that because it would have been caught right away that your architect hasn't been notified that we want you to work on this project. To me, that proves that they had no intent of following the contract on their own. Commissioner Rosales, I, and Ms. Tapia sat down in a Zoom conference with A-Alert president and their counsel. I was hoping that we would come to just a resolution where we could say, look, we have a problem, y'all put on a roof, we got a new roof, thank you, but it didn't fix the problem. Can we meet in the middle? They didn't offer that. All they said was, you signed a contract, now you're gonna follow it. Well, I've read their contract and they're not following their contract. So I say, let's duke it out, because they're trying to hold us to a standard that they're not holding themselves to. And I'm not for that. And they didn't provide the services that they guaranteed. They came to court, they guaranteed that this will fix our problem, and it didn't. And instead of coming like honorable people to try and work it out, they just said, you owe me money, and that's it. This is my opinion, and I'm happy to show anyone that wants to see the contract. I would love to have their opinion as well. And I apologize, I get fired up about it, because I'm very angry about this situation. But this is my opinion, and this is why I would vote to not pay the bill.
Extremely well said, Commissioner.
What is your recommendation?
So just a couple of issues. The architect that's listed on the contract is the architect who was the one who designed the offices on the square. If, per the contract, we would have had to hire the architect. Obviously, we did not hire that architect. I called the architect, had a discussion with him. He has never been contacted with regard to this roof or anything. He stated the last time he had anything to do with the county was when he was being sued by the county for the job he did over there. So he was not employed by the county in any way, shape, or means, or consulted by the county with regard to this roof. Court would probably look at that as surplusage. It looks like when I discussed it with legal counsel for Alert, that was a reference to who designed the building. It is a unique design. Looking at the plans and stuff with regard to installing that roof. So, and there would be, the court would look at, was there a meeting of the minds? Because obviously, Alert didn't consult any architect. We did not employ any architect. So a court would likely find that that element was waived. So anything in that the contract that references anything regarding an architect, or an architect is supposed to be making payments or approving payments, anything like that, because neither party hired an architect was not involved in this whole project, that the parties agreed that that would be waived. Second, the representative for Alert coming to court and representing that whatever he represented and that he would guarantee this or that. There's a legal term called the parole evidence rule. If it's not in the contract, it doesn't come in. So you could, like I've said, as my example, you could say pink unicorns are going to fly off the roof when we're done. That doesn't happen. You can't come back and say, well, you said this. If it's not in the contract, it's not going to count. So basically, my recommendation is to pay the bill. We're going to end up in paying a lot more when everything's said and done, because the arbitrator is going to come look at the contract and see, was it substantially complied with, and then make an evaluation as to who needs to pay, and then they're going to ask again for their expenses, attorney's fees, everything else. And plus we have to pay for the arbitrator. So the initial payment is $7,000 for the arbitrator. Our recourse is if the roof does leak, we have a 20-year warranty that Alert has to abide by. And if it is leaking, they have to come in and fix it.
And we could pay them, and then we could sue them, correct?
Yes, if the work does not substantially comply with what they set out to do, and the leak is because of their work, we have recourse.
The cheapest way out is to pay them.
Well, I don't know if you're looking for the cheapest way out, or if you're looking as far as litigation and the chances that a arbitrator is going to rule that in our favor.
I've never in my life had a contract where someone said, we're going to sign a contract. We, both parties agree to this contract, and then afterwards say, yeah, I know I signed the contract, but neither one of us really meant what we said in the contract, so we're going to dismiss that. I understand you say the meeting of minds, but that, I say, that it doesn't make sense to me. And again, I'm not a lawyer, it just doesn't make sense. In your contract, it says, claims, disputes, and other matters in controversy arising out of related to the contract, except those waived in this, shall be subject to mediation as a consent. A request for mediation shall be made in writing, delivered to the other party. Mediation shall proceed in advance of binding dispute resolution. And all these things are supposed to go first to the initial decision maker, who is the architect. That is all stated in this contract. They're not doing any of that. They're going straight to dispute resolution.
Well, as I explained before, the way it works is it's mediation/arbitration. So you mediate what you can first, and then what you can't agree on gets arbitrated. And it's all done by the same arbitrator/mediator that is appointed by the American Association of Arbitrators.
Well, I just struggle with it because this contract the whole way through says that we're supposed to do things, and you're telling me none of those things matter except for the fact that at the very beginning of the contract, it says anything we said beforehand doesn't matter because it's not in this contract.
Well, that's the parole evidence rule. That's not in the contract. That's a legal, that's basically a legal standard that is applied to all contracts.
Ladies and gentlemen, instead of myself getting just emotional and drawn up about it, I think I've made my case, and I will leave the rest to the courts, but I vote no.
I'm struggling with this one too, because normally, I guess you kind of step into where the old school word, shake someone's hand and it's done. And I'm really, really old school. I'm sorry about that. So that's the reason that I'm struggling with this, because even if it wouldn't be in the contract, if I shake somebody's hand, I make an agreement, I keep it. That's why I'm struggling with this one so hard. And I understand that I work for the county and I'm watching every county dollar. And I understand there may be an issue with it coming out $20,000, $30,000 more if we go at it. And, like Commissioner One said, and I do understand that. If it was me personal, it was my personal, I would go to court with it. I wouldn't care about the $20,000 or $30,000, but that would be me, just to prove my point and, try to get them to stand up for what they did say, even though it wasn't in the contract, because they told a county commissioner this, so, I mean, we have to stand for something.
Understand.
Because if not, sometimes we miss it. I know Commissioner One, he's very old school, too, very old school. So when you tell him something, he's gonna expect you to do it. And I'm struggling with this one really, 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 really bad. I just don't know what to do right now because I've never really said it in court. I usually know what to do, but on this one here, I don't want to cost the taxpayers any more money. I don't. But there's a point to be proven on this situation. And I get voted in here for a reason. I'm gonna say what I believe in. I just think that if we take it to court, we take it to court. That's my opinion on it, and let them defend themselves in court. And I apologize if it costs us a little bit more, but this is what I would do. I'm just one person here, but I agree with Commissioner One, and this is a very hard decision for me. But I believe that we need to make them stand up, win or lose, for what they said, not just what's in the contract, but what they said to one of the court members.
I understand. I mean, I just need a decision so I can let opposing counsel know if we're moving forward or the bill's getting paid.
Any other discussion from the court?
Yeah, well, this is, like both of the commissioners said, this is, how do you weigh it out? I'm old school too, and if our attorney recommends that we pay it, she's the attorney. Yes. We're not, and I'm gonna agree with her. I think we ought to pay it, and then we can sue afterwards if we want to. But if we don't pay it, we're gonna go through all this litigation, and chances are we're not gonna win, and it's gonna cost us more money.
I agree with Commissioner Beatrick, and Commissioner Rosales, that this does leave a bad taste, and I think everyone's mouth up here. It's not something that we want to have to deal with it as far as people not keeping their word. I think everyone in this room has kind of grown up that way and raised that way. Having said that, I do agree with Commissioner Lissy. If our county attorney's telling us that we need to, her suggestion is to pay this bill because legally we don't have a leg to stand on in a way, even though we heard what was said in court. And I agree, I was here too, I heard it. I think we should go ahead and pay at this point, and if we need to seek something in return to come back, do that at another date. That's just my 2 cents.
Judge, may I?
Yes, sir.
I have a question for the auditor, if you don't mind, Tom. My recent understanding of the law is we cannot, as a commissioner's court, approve to pay a bill unless it's been certified by the auditor and approved. And so I have a contract here that says the final payment is due upon the receipt of certification from the architect. And you don't have that, do you, sir?
That's correct.
So
I would have to sign off the invoice, and I sign off on.
Tom, talking to the microphone, this is a pretty important deal here.
Yes, sir. So the invoice would be presented to me by the department head. After the department head signs it, then I would make sure that's within the budget and within the scope of paying. And I have not been received an invoice paid. To pay.
So you have not certified or approved this bill as a valid bill to be paid?
Correct. You are correct, Commissioner.
So would it be correct then, my understanding is we cannot legally pay this bill until you do so?
Microphone, folks. People want to hear, deserve to hear.
The bill went to the department head, is that correct?
Yes, it went to the judge's office.
So what do you mean by it's not, because there wasn't an architect that?
No, because all bills have to be certified or approved by the auditor before they come to court for payment. I have not had that yet.
I thought the bill had been submitted at some point in time back in September for payment, and that's when everything started that we shouldn't pay the bill.
It's never been in any of the bills list.
Correct, because it can't go on the bill list until the department head signs off on it before I sign off on it. You're correct.
I guess that department head would be Judge Hedke, is that correct? Is that the signature you're looking for?
Yeah, that's my, yes, sir, because he signs all contracts on behalf of the county.
Judge, I think it's important that we weigh in with you here, sir, because there seems like they're waiting on your signature, but I've made it clear my opinion on the matter. I don't know.
Michelle, please come up. This was presented to my office and myself last week. I will let, you want me to, do you have it where I can read it?
In y'all's packets, it states where originally originated.
Originally, it states in your packet that bill was sent to Commissioner Lissy.
And then it's been going back and forth,
And so whenever it was presented again, when it was presented to me last week, I absolutely am not going to sign off on approving that bill to just go through the bill cycle without the public knowing and without the court having the opportunity to make a decision on this. I applaud Commissioner Beatrick. He has dug into this. Commissioner Rosales has helped, but Commissioner Beatrick has gone in. He has examined. He's gone through the contract and much detail. Back to the bill coming to my office last week. I told Michelle, I told Tom, and I told Mrs. Tapia. I said, I'm not signing off on that. Mrs. Tapia emailed back and agreed that the judge should not sign.
Correct, and I just need a decision on whether this bill is going to be paid, or I've gotten 2 extensions from council, and basically, that's all I need is the decision. You can pay it in the future, I can let him know that it's going to be paid if you decide to pay it in the next Commissioners Court. But I've already received 2 extensions from him, and I just need a yes or no whether or not we're going to move this ball forward and go through litigation, or I need to let him know that this is what's going to happen.
Any other discussion? It is an action item.
I will make a motion not to pay this bill.
I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of not paying this bill signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed to that motion? Commissioner 2 and 4 are opposed. Motion carries to not pay this bill to alert. Item number 19, discuss approve, disapprove recommendation by DRG Architects and Commissioner Precinct 2 Benny Lissy to approve final construction documents for the Precinct 2 Service Center and JP Office Building Project, and authorize DRG Architects to take all actions necessary to issue construction documents for competitive sealed proposals for construction. Benny Lissy.
Yes, we've been working on this, Commissioner Geisler and I, and both of the Justice of the Peace and Precinct 2 and 4 got together. We got a set of plans drawn up that both judges approved, and they put a lot of work into it. We've had quite a few meetings about it, and it's all come to this point now. And by them agreeing on one set of plans, we'll use a set of plans for both precincts and save the county some money. So I'm ready to move forward on this.
Judge, may I?
Yes.
So I've got to know Wayne with DRG Architects here in several meetings, and I've come to appreciate your input, sir, and I have a few questions about the plans. The first thing that kind of jumped out at me was that there's a pre-engineered wood frame. Why are we using wood instead of metal? It just seems to be common that we use metal more often now. Is it cost savings only, or what?
Yes, sir. I mean, the main reason for it is to maintain the budget that we have for the project, and rather than go with a metal frame building for the size. It is a 3,000 square foot building, so it is a very small structure to be used.
What is the current budget estimated for this?
I believe it's less than 1.5 million is the budget that we have right now for the project.
If we wanted to go with a metal structure, you believe it would raise it over $2 million, or any idea? Could you give me a ballpark, a cost difference?
That would probably be adequate, Commissioner. I think in looking at that and going with the light gauge metal framing instead, that does. I would want to go back and talk with the structural engineer a little bit about that as to how does that work with the type of roof system that we have. To go with the light gauge metal framing on the walls, that's one thing. To stay with that, conventional, pre-engineered trusses that we have right now is quite conventional. To go with the light gauge metal framing on the roof structure is not as common, but it is done for this size of building. It's easily done. It's just what is that cost impact? I would have to go back and look and see what that cost impact really would be.
Do you think it would be a substantial redesign, or do you think with the existing design, if we chose to go with metal, we could continue?
It would delay us a little bit. We'd have to go back and do the re-engineering, redo the wall sections. The floor plan would stay the same. The sizes of the members would probably stay pretty much the same. But the sections and the roof framing would be the major change on that. So that's where it is. The foundation wouldn't change on that. I would say that the comment, and I think to make sure that we understand that the two buildings and the two sets of plans will be individual sets of plans because we have two sites, two foundations that'll be specifically designed for those sites. And we do have to go back according to the state energy code that we will have to provide, that recalculations for that engineered mechanical system for that site, for that building, and Runge also. So they're identical buildings in a sense, but they do have to be site adapted and they do have to be, specifically designed for that site. So.
That's when we're doing it, two stages.
Yes, sir. So that's why, I'm sorry that I get into the minutia sometimes of this and the nitty gritty, but it's all about the details and want to make sure that y'all really know what we're doing there. But, whether it's wood frame or metal frame, my only hesitancy is that we can do either one. If we want to move forward with the project and keep it moving forward, it is going to delay at least several weeks, getting into January. The good thing is that we're not losing a whole lot right now with the holidays, because that's another issue that I was going to ask today, is just discuss about what those bid dates may be, the proposal receipt dates would be. Because originally, we kind of had set up to receive those in December with a few other issues that were coming up. That kind of got pushed again. So now we're looking at January, February to be those receive dates. If we're looking on changing the structure. So we can go back and do that. We can relook at that as far as to go with a metal frame a building. But again, that's a court's desire for us to look at that.
I think the reason for the wood frame building was we could get more local contractors would bid on it.
Commissioner, to go with a wood frame versus a metal frame, you are going to have somebody on a metal, light gauge metal framing that is accustomed to that, rather than, some of your smaller contractors are wood frame contractors. Some of your even light commercial to high-end residential are going to be really looking at, some of the ability to look at the framing. So it does open up the level of contracting there. So again, I wasn't anticipating that question, but at the same time, we can work with that. I think for the type of structure it is, it's still a long-term viable construction material to use. We see, 50, 75-year-old houses built out of, wood frame that, when they're maintained. I know I live in over a 50-year-old house, and it's still quite sturdy, so.
Commissioner, if I may too, that specific question, because I wanted the metal frame, I just always feel stronger to me. And I think already in the stage when we were designing this and talking about it, I reached out to Perry, and another deal was the tariffs. We couldn't get metal at the time, and it was a major issue the time we were talking about this. So that part in it, and Perry, he reassured me that the sturdiness of the building, kind of seconding exactly what you're saying right now, is that it's going to do the same thing. It's going to be just as sturdy. It's going to be just as strong the way they tie it in together. But that if you wanted to go back to do the steel again, that it would be a new kind of a design. It would change up the way things are laid out. So, but it was thought about. It was kicked around and talked about as far as why it was not steel versus wood.
I think my biggest reason for asking is I had a neighbor one time who worked for pest control, and he told me there are two types of houses in Texas, the kinds that have termites and the kind that will. And I always stuck in my head, I understand if we have the proper pest control maintenance schedule that should resolve it, but I've also been told by many people in the community, we don't need to cheap out. Karnes County's got millions of dollars in the bank. So if it's just a matter of dollars and cents, I'm willing to at least entertain the idea. I've looked at the design, it looks good. I've talked with JP3 personally, and she liked the design. So, I'm sorry, 2. I apologize. JP2 is she liked the design. She said she was instrumental in helping design it. I think that's great. I'm really happy that everyone's worked together to try and design a building that should suit multiple locations, I understand, with the proper design. So that was just a question that I would sure like to have it as at least an option in the future when we go out for bids, for it to be an option to build it with metal. I did have a couple other questions. It was like, do we have a contract with DRG to design this structure? Because it's not in our county clerk's records that we have a contract. And Commissioner Lissy this morning did tell me that he was able to get one from DRG, but contracts have kind of been on my mind lately, folks. It's kind of been an important thing, and I just want to make sure that Ms. Tapia has had a chance to review this contract, that our entire court has had a chance to read the contract, and that it is properly put in the county clerk's records. In here, there was a question about the geotechnical report. There has been a geotechnical report completed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't need any more buildings kind of sinking or falling in. We've got
Yes,
enough
sir.
of those.
And the facility, I mean, the building was designed to that, the structural engineer did design to that Saul's report.
My last question is for the court. I just want to get it clear that in moving forward, who's going to spearhead this contract? We don't want anything to fall through the cracks anymore in the future. We want to designate a commissioner, I think, to make sure.
I will.
Commissioner Lissy would like to do that. I just think at this time, my only hangup is the contract. Ms. Tapia, have you had a chance to see this contract and review it?
If I recall, this is like one contract. If I recall, wasn't this one contract for the different, for Commissioner 4 and 2 precinct for the service centers? It was all one thing, wasn't it?
No, we have to have separate.
Well, I would have to look. I don't recall off the top of my head. I look at a lot of things, so I'd have to look at it to look at.
Did you say that it wasn't recorded in the?
It was not. I reached out to our county clerk and she could not locate it.
We did not find it in our record.
Yes, I would have to look back at my emails and everything, so.
But I like the design, and I don't want to slow it down. I want this built for Karnes County so that we can serve our constituents well. I want us to all learn from our mistakes and not have any more hiccups and problems.
If I could, Commissioner,
Yes, sir.
I believe that contract, and I don't remember exactly what the date of the contract was, but that was the date following the Commissioners' Court meeting when we were selected. And then that was in 2024, October, November, the date at the top of the first sheet there of that contract. And then I believe that we actually received the signed copy back. There's email with that we received the digital copy back, I believe in February or March. So that's when we received it back. And then we started our services, after receiving that back.
And it's been signed by both parties, by Judge Hickey and by y'all too.
Yes, sir. I did have one other thing to just
Yes,
share
sir.
with y'all, and I'm going to. Commissioner Lissy had asked Perry, can you give us a little bit of a rendering there? I apologize a little bit for the quality of, for some reason, our printer wasn't working real good yesterday evening when I was trying to get those done there, but there's a couple views of the facility there from each side, but I did want to, so you can see what the building, and again, it's a simple, straightforward structure, service center. but it's intended to be, something that will be substantial and serviceable for a long period of time. So the only alternate we have on this project, I think, is for some parking spaces, so that in the proposal, there is an alternate pricing for the additional 10 parking spaces. I would ask that as we move forward, or as you choose, if you choose to move forward with this, that we could work either with Commissioner Lissy or give us some direction on how to set the actual proposal dates, so that we can get that together with the auditor and make sure that, we get the proper advertising on that.
I will say it's been great to work with. I met Mr. Gondek. Wayne is the head man at DRG, and I got to meet him a couple of weeks ago, and Wayne has been just outstanding. And so thank you again for coming down today and explaining.
Thank you, Judge.
I had one more question I remembered, Wayne. The proximity of the new building to the existing structure, it's very close. Is it designed in a way that we'll be able to still operate out of the existing facility while this one's being built? Or will demolition be required first?
It's my understanding that we've got enough to be able to go ahead and build the structure and then demo the other building.
And by demo, we mean putting wheels under it. We're going to repurpose that building. Yeah.
Relocate.
Well, I think this thing's been kicked down the road long enough. I want to make a motion that we approve number 19 as presented.
Commissioner two, there's a contract on there, is that? There's a contract signed? It just hasn't been recorded, or? Right.
That would just say, any contracts that go to Commissioner's Court, we don't chase down documents. That's something that you as commissioners have to bring to our office to file. Wes has emailed contracts for me. Wayne has also brought contracts to me. Those have to be brought into our office for filing.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Again, Wayne, thank you for coming. Judge Krzyzekwa, it's been a long time coming. I think I still have a set of your original drawings, so excited about this. And for you. Item number 20, I feel like this is not working loud. Can y'all hear me okay? Yeah? Item number 20 is to convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071 to discuss Karnes County Archives Building, Commissioner Rosales and Commissioner Beatrick.
Judge, may I?
Judge,
After you, sir.
okay, thank you. Judge, we put it on the agenda, but it's really, if we want to discuss it in public, there's not a lot to discuss on it, but may I just go ahead and brief it just in public so everyone knows what's going on?
Mrs. Tapia?
Yeah, it's either or. Whenever we put executive session, we can do it out here, so I'm okay with doing it out here, right? Yes.
Correct.
If it's potential litigation, attorney-client privilege stuff, then.
Ms. Tapia, whenever they ask you to come up and speak,
so
speak
used
into the
to
microphone. I know.
Sitting at council's bench and, so if in executive session, if there's any potential litigation and attorney-client privilege issues, then yes. I mean, if there's something with regard in this specific issue with regard to a contract or anything like that, or lack of a contract, and there's potential litigation, then yes. But if there's nothing like that, then it wouldn't be a proper executive session agenda item.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to read out something, folks, that I have here. Me and Commissioner Wong, we've been working on this. I'm just going to read out what I wrote. All meetings went very well. I'm happy to report there is progress being made. We will have another meeting with CNC tomorrow around 4 p.m. If all goes well, We will be contacting DRG, and we will be moving forward with the county attorney on a contract. So far, we have not pushed the contractor or anything because we wanted to make sure that everybody was still, interested in doing the building, all parties. So this is why we haven't pushed the contract. I was waiting to see if everyone was interested in it still. At 4 o'clock tomorrow, CNC will give us a call, and then we'll know if we're still a team, the team that started it is going to finish it. Then I'll move with the county attorney. I will report on every meeting. We have had 2 meetings with Christina from CNC, 2 meetings with Caesar and Christina from CNC, 1 meeting with Wayne, president of DRG, 1 meeting with Wayne, John from DRG, and Christina and Caesar from CNC. All meetings have been reported to Judge Headkey. Everything looks good. There's progress being made, but I will let you know on the next meeting. And Commissioner One, we've done a lot of work on it. We spent probably 8 or 10 hours on meetings with these folks, and we will know something more tomorrow after 4 o'clock and be able to report more on the next meeting.
Commissioner Viatric.
I just wanted to state that I do hear the community when they say they want to be involved, they want transparency, and that's why I spoke with Commissioner Rosales yesterday, asking if he felt we truly needed to go to executive session, because I don't believe we reached that point just yet. And so, Commissioner, I appreciate the report, and
Yes, sir.
we hope to give you all good progress soon.
Item number 21, our consent agenda. We have reports from our Justice of the Peace Precinct 3, our IT Department, Maintenance Department, Sheriff's Department, Constable Precinct 1, Constable Precinct 3, and our Veteran Service Officer. There is also a budget amendment on B that I believe we need to remove and not approve.
What was that, Judge? I'm sorry.
Underneath the consent agenda, the letter B for budget amendment was the one that we pulled because there's confusion on the paperwork.
Thank you, Judge.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Geisler, a second by Commissioner Lissy. All those in favor for approving the consent agenda, are y'all,
Judge,
Commissioner, are you wanting to pull B? Or is your motion to include?
No, yeah, I do want to pull that.
So your motion will be to approve the consent agenda items under the letter A, reports 1 through 7.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Does your second still stand, Commissioner Lissy?
Yes, it does.
All right, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None, motion carries. Item number 22, discussion on any of those? Hearing none, updates from our commissioners. I will start since I've been asked by several in the public encouraging me to tell folks what I do on a, not necessarily daily basis, but just what I do. And so going back, obviously the first week of this was the end of Thanksgiving, so I worked until about 1:30 here on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then was blessed with family and friends for an incredible Thanksgiving at our home. So I'm extremely thankful for that. And for all those that were able to enjoy that. On Monday, we had food bank, Michelle was at Food Bank. I see some of our volunteers out here. So I manned the office and I visited with constituents and commissioners. And Tuesday, emails, and I worked on the new closing date for Gillette. That closing date has, if anybody's interested in that, it's been a roller coaster. But survey is finally complete, correct. And Ashford, the attorney for the gentleman selling the property, is preparing that. Also had probates on Tuesday, Wednesday, emails, agenda items, had constituents come in. We had a jail property meeting with the constable and the commissioner. On Thursday, we had our GLO meeting with for the potential bridges in the county that are grant funded. Michelle's done an incredible job with that, and really all of our grant stuff. It's a ton of work, and whenever we have so many grants that we're active in, it's a lot to keep up with. So remember that we do have that grant position open, so if folks are interested in that, or if you know somebody that would be interested in that, please feel free to reach out and visit with myself, Michelle, or Elaine about that. On Friday, I had a guardianship hearing, which very interesting. Guardianships are not my favorite thing to do, but they are interesting, and for the most part, a very, very good thing. This week, obviously, is early, but yesterday I had county court. I sit on this bench. My bench is right behind me for my criminal court, where I hear Class A, Class B, and appealed Class C misdemeanor cases from our JPs. And so yesterday I had half a bag of Fritos for lunch. We went a little long, but we did get some pleas done yesterday, which was good to help move that docket along. Then yesterday afternoon, I had a meeting with, when y'all hear me say that my door is always open, my door is always open, and a lot of people utilize that. A lot in this room utilize that. And a lot of people that are watching outside utilize that. And I get tons of compliments on that. A perfect example is yesterday, after I finished my half a bag of Fritos for my lunch, I had CNC Construction come in. And as CNC Construction comes in, I'm sitting and just visiting with them, and Commissioner Rosales pops in. And so we get to have a good little meeting. I see Commissioner Beatrick as Commissioner Rosales and myself are sitting there. He pops in and he wants to visit, and he sees that James and I are there, and he's like, oh, nope. And so he ski-daddles away. And then we finish up, and then Commissioner Beatrick pops back in about 4:20 and says, Judge, do you have time? And I said, absolutely. And so I got to visit with him. And then I did attend the night meeting last night, very interesting, very eye-opening. I encourage, if folks want to learn more about that, reach out to me. Commissioner Beatrick was there as well. Very interesting, but I look forward to doing these reports for the public. So what? Donation, oh, and then the donation last night, Catholic Life met me here about 4:30 yesterday evening, and they're generous to donate to the food bank. Y'all may remember last year whenever they did it, that, they wrote the check to the Karnes County Food Bank, and we don't have a Karnes County Food Bank, so we had to try to get that figured out. Do we send it to the food bank, and if the food bank but we got all that done. Ms. Sweezy was instrumental in getting that done too, so thank Carol for that. But that's my report current through 11:07 on Tuesday. Commissioner, Precinct 1.
Thank you, sir. So the last work period was a little shorter because of Thanksgiving, so I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving and spent time with their family. Reflect on the things that we should be thankful for. Last week, the county held its monthly food bank distribution. I want to thank all the volunteers who braved the cold to help us. I also want to thank the South Texas Trail Riders Association for bringing out their portable restroom. We ran into a snag with the new restroom service company, and the trail rider said, no problem, we'll take care of it. We served about 150 families this month. We had quite a bit of leftovers because we were planning for 200, so I delivered the leftovers to the pantry in Karnes City and to the basket in Kennedy. Most of my week revolved around the archive building project. I've been searching out and reviewing documents related to the project and getting a better understanding of how we got here. Commissioner Rosales and I have had several productive meetings with CNC Construction and DRG Architects. There are some details that we are still working out before we provide an in-depth report. I've been driving the county roads, and I keep in contact with Aspen on any issues I come across. Construction on the EMS training and admin building is progressing. The relocation of the fire sprinkler water line is complete. The sewer line relocation should start today. Foundation prep is progressing well, and we hope to have a slab poured by the end of the month. The metal building is ordered, and it's expected to arrive in the middle of next month. As always, there's a lot going on in December. So this Thursday, the Kennedy Chamber of Commerce has their 10th annual holiday tour of homes from 5:30 to 9:30. Then Friday morning, the Chamber will have their second Friday morning mingle at the Otto Kaiser Memorial Hospital from 7:30 to 8:30. This Saturday is Founders Day at the park in Karnes City. Events start at 9 a.m. with a color run. There will be an illuminated night parade at 6, and fireworks are scheduled for 7. On Thursday, December 18th, Otto Kaiser will have their 13th annual Holiday on the Hill from 5:30 to 8 p.m. There will be a petting zoo, train rides, crafts, and games, all free to the public. And on December 21st, the San Antonio River Authority is hosting a free movie night at the Escondido Creek Parkway, and they will be showing The Grinch at 6 p.m. Perfect for Christmas.
Yay, thank you. Commissioner Precinct 2.
First of all, I'd like to thank all of our county employees for all the hard work they do. I drove county roads 225, 211, 207, 208, 209, 217, 210, 189, 185, 186, and 386. And made notes on all of them and reported all of it to Karnes County Road and Bridge. County Road 211 is about 70% finished with the drainage. And we'll get that done. We'll be ready for paving rehab. The Hobson Township project will be doing material procurement project this next week, and the project will start next week. County Road 375, work is ready to start, and we'll start on drainage structures next week. We'll be working on County Road 218, 219 patching pavement, and be preparing for a spring overlay. Reviewed the Precinct 2 Service Center plans, and they're very good. We're really pleased with the DRG architects. They've done a great job, and hats off to them. Looking forward to the next step now. We spent a lot of time, Commissioner Geisler and I spent a lot of time with our JPs 2 and 4. It was time well spent. We got the plans done the way that they wanted them, and thank them for their input and support on these major project and working together. We've agreed on one set of plans for both precincts, and we'll save the county some money that way. We'll continue to be working on County Road 211 and Hobson projects, working with citizens and coordinating all construction. And in closing, I'd like for us all to remember the reason for the season, the birth of Jesus Christ in Christmas, and God bless America.
All right, Commissioner Rosales.
County Road 300, 302 are still under construction. County Road 289 was cement stabilized last week, and half of it was laid with base. Shredding continues throughout Precinct 3. County Road 263, working on all the drainage improvements. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Precinct 4.
So I donated to the send-off for the Kennedy football team last week. Congratulations to those young men on their successful season. Shame that it had to come to an end the way it did. They did great. I met with the constituent about possible road abandonment coming up that I'll be bringing to court in the future. I also met with another constituent, spent hours with them, looking at his road, discussing it. Left there, he was very happy with hopefully what's going to be coming down the road for him. I drove 20 roads within my precinct. I'll list them all, but it will be here in a minute, so I'd much rather not. But I did drive quite a few roads, identified numerous issues. There was a lot of reflectors knocked down. There's some junk out there, so I did notify the proper folks to get all that taken care of. Followed up with that about 3 days later. Most of that work was done, so hats off to the Road and Bridges Department. And then continually working on the Precinct 4 Service Center and the EMS station. Getting those contracts ready to go, getting all that stuff together is a lot of effort, so that's it for me.
All right, let's get our reports from our auditor and our treasurer.
All right, Court, good morning again. Okay, so at the end of November, our revenue for the general fund was $3,695,230.97, on which the ad valorem tax was $1,478,888.25, county sales tax $1,185,397.06, interest $499,103.95, EMS receipts $1,222,540.15, and then tax office fees $33,961.94. Our expenses for the first 2 months is $4,347,585.10. Normally, we received a large amounts of money towards the end of December and January, so we will see a big influx of ad valorem taxes there. So we're still actually, our expenses are only 1 month worth of our budget, and we're already 2 months into the budget. Road and Bridge, ad valorem taxes $901,440.98. Oil and gas leases $943,392.24. Interest $45,029.48, and all other revenues $1,375,832.22, which gives total revenues of $3,265,694.40. Expenditures of $2,323,479.47, which is kind of on track with what general fund is doing. Our non-court bills were $6,704,939. Total GO was $5,090,731.38. Two payrolls of $686,253.53. Payroll taxes and insurance, retirement $563,208.64. Utilities $53,120.98. And other expenditures that we pay weekly is like $311,624.47. The largest amount of that was grant expenditures that when we get reimbursed, we have to pay back out for the home program and so forth. So that was $306,251.91 of that $311,000. Our investments at the end of November were $87,862,977.44, which taxes class was $27,442,276.13. Tax pool $31,493,737.96. And then multi-bank, which is Persian, was $28,926,963.35.
Thank you, Tom. Vida, treasurer's report.
Thank you, Judge, for that report. I'm assuming your name will be put next time for transparency reasons. Balance as of October 2025, $90,899,076.65. Receipts for the month of November 2025, $15,130,809.51. Disbursements for the same time period, $13,189,323.12. Balance as of November 2025, $92,841,463.04.
Okay, item number 25 is going to be discussion/action on the treasurer's report.
Make the motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Item number 26, discuss acknowledgement of personnel changes. This is all departments. And we have some new hires, one in the sheriff's office. We've got a new jailer. We do have a new person at our road and bridge collection site, which is a part-time position. So I know there's some folks that do utilize that, several folks. And then the tax office got their deputy clerk seasonal for all the fun that they're about to have. No promotions, transfers, reassignments, or resignations, terminations, or retirements. We are currently hiring facility security officers, grant administrator, Karnes Wilson Juvenile Probation Department wants a prevention specialist, a probation officer. Road and Bridge needs equipment operator 1, equipment operator 2. Sheriff's Office needs bailiff, dispatcher, jailer, patrol deputies. Item number 27, payment of bills.
All right, Court, the bills are pretty light this time. Actually, it's the lightest I think I've seen since I've been here. So the total's $443,492.23, and the majority of that is Road and Bridge, which is $370,410.69.
Is the budget amendment that was listed on here included in this bill cycle? The 15,000
For the, hold on, Judge.
for the Fund 197?
No, sir, no, that was not, no,
Just want
sir.
to make sure that that didn't
You're
get
correct.
overlooked.
I'll move we pay the bills.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lissy to pay the bills, a second by Commissioner Beatrick. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None, motion carries. Item number 28, acknowledge Commissioners Court will meet on December 23rd, 2025, 9 a.m., right here in our historic courtroom at 101 North Pan Maria Avenue, Suite 200, Karnes City, Texas, 78118. Item number 29, need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you all.